You're watching the news summary on Kazakh TV, review of the major news of the week from Kazakhstan. I'm Jana Sagandikova. Good evening. One of the major Astana events last week was the three-day talks of the leading groups of the Syrian opposition. The whole international community was turned in following the progress. The crisis in Syria has long gone beyond the regional scope. However, the outcome of the talks in Astana could be called successful, as the final document was signed by the representatives of the Syrian opposition. Participants of the meeting urged to withdraw all the militants from Syria who are not country citizens and to rebuild the army. They also agreed on humanitarian issues and, in particular, on the organization of the corridors with the support of international organizations such as the Red Cross and Red Crescent to deliver humanitarian aid to refugees. In addition, during the Astana dialogue, the representatives of key forces of the Syrian opposition have discussed a roadmap for a long-term political solution to the crisis. And as we learned after the first round of talks in Astana, the representatives of the Syrian opposition are ready for a second meeting in Kazakhstan.
The issue of foreign armed forces in Syria was one of the most difficult ones, but in the end we came to a conclusion that all foreign military forces must leave our country. The people of Syria will themselves reach unity, peace and harmony.
More than 3,000 houses flooded. 18,000 people had to be evacuated from their homes along with their most precious belongings. Despite the efforts to avoid floods, there are still victims affected by them and even losses. An elderly couple from the Karaganda region died in the floods. Vice Minister of Internal Affairs Vladimir Bashko began his report from estimating the damages.
Now the application is ready for the Akmala region. 800 million tenge is required for the Pavlodar region, 800 million for the elimination of consequences in the East Kazakhstan region. Nearly 9 billion will be required in Karaganda and the same for the Akmala region. That is the damage.
Floods have also affected the officials. Several regional chiefs of emergency situations departments have been dismissed for negligence.
Such
emergencies never happened here. As a consequence, we had to oust a few chiefs of emergency situations departments who didn't prioritize the information they had received. Also, someone suggested to punish some of the governors because they didn't follow orders to prepare their settlements ahead of these floods.
120,000 Saiga antelopes have been birthed in several regions. The latest figures of the unprecedented marine of animals that are included in the Red Book have been announced at the Ministry of Agriculture. A working group was assigned to determine the causes of Saiga antelopes' deaths. My colleague Ruslan Idrisov has found out what versions were voiced over the mass deaths and, most importantly, whether this incident may affect cattle and horses.
Different versions were announced, such as pasteurellosis, heptil emissions, and even heavy rains. Every single point of view has been considered. Different people held speeches, from researchers of major regional institutions to specialists of the ministry, while speakers shared their opinions from the speaking rosters.
The October veterinarians announced their verdict. According to their conclusion, antelopes fell because of the grass disease. They ate grass with roots and got poisoned with toxins as a result.
We conducted a full bacteriological analysis, and today we have diagnosed anaerobic enterotoxemia. You should not feed the cattle in the area, and I think we will have to take measures not to let Saiga enter this area next year. Today you heard different opinions, even among the scientists. Therefore, it is absolutely wrong to say that some are right and some are wrong. Let's wait for the results of their scientific research. In the Astana and Aktobe regions, the mortality has stopped and work is being conducted on disposal of dead Saiga antelopes. In the Akmala region, animals are still dying, but the death toll is less compared to those two regions. International experts have spent several days in the steppes, saying that all the necessary tests had been taken. The work was ongoing as planned. The only problem was that the time of identification of the causes had been shifted. They plan to answer the rest of questions in 1 month. It is not clear how it all happened. This is a complex disease, syndrome of Saiga. We must also examine the samples that are currently selected. This is a home video from the University of West Kazakhstan. A huge team of specialists has been working on the preservation of the population of the red list animals. As they say, a lot of work was a waste of time. It should be noted that the last hope on the conservation of Saiga lies on Kazakhstan, because 90% of these animals live in the country.
Kazakhstan is the first country in the CIS to receive the status of a zone free from foot and mouth disease, as was announced in Paris at the 83rd General Session of the International Epizootic Bureau. The status has been assigned to 9 regions so far. However, by fall this year, the Ministry of Agriculture intends to obtain the status for the rest of the regions. This will increase Kazakhstan's sales market of meat and dairy products. The Ministry of Agriculture has not yet come up with the potential profit, but the prospects are promising because before, the country didn't have access to European and many Arab markets. The requirements for vaccination and diagnosis of animals were increased to obtain the status, and special veterinary laboratories were created across the country at the district level, where the prevention of foot and mouth diseases were provided by the state budget. Livestock owners have not suffered any financial losses.
Zoning works are already carried out. That is, even the next time we will be successful, which is possible. If an epidemic strikes, then the whole country, its whole territory, which is the size of a few European states, won't be in danger. Only areas within a certain radius will be affected. For example, 30 kilometers or 50 kilometers will be closed off.
Scientists unveiled the secret behind this sleeping sickness in the village of Kazakh in the Expo region. The research has shown that the residents fell asleep because of lack of oxygen in combination with a high content of carbon monoxide and hydrocarbons in the air. The scientists have been working for quite some time to reveal the connection between the sleeping sickness and closed mines where uranium ore was located in the Soviet era. It has been determined that radiation was not the reason to spur the sleeping outbreak. The last case of the disease was recorded in the village in early April. Experts do not forecast disease outbreak. Therefore, it is very likely that the symptoms will return in the winter. According to the scientists, sleeping sickness is apparently connected with the change of seasons and certain weather conditions. Some residents have suffered 3 or even 4 attacks of the disease over the past 2 years. Fortunately, nobody died. In total, about 130 residents of the village went to their local hospital to complain about symptoms of sleepiness.
It has been discovered that 50% of the population has high content of carboxyhemoglobin in their blood, which is above the physiological norm. Our task is to examine the adverse environmental factors. We have no doubt that these factors exist. The second question is, why is it happening? That is what we are going to find out.
17 master classes on gynecology, general and vascular surgery will be held in the framework of the Days of the French Surgery in Kazakhstan. Domestic doctors, together with foreign colleagues, conducted some complex surgeries using cutting-edge new technologies. Laparoscopic surgery was one of the main topics of the master classes. France is considered the trailblazer in surgeries without a scalpel. For information, similar surgeries have been performed in Kazakhstan since 1991.
Professionals from Clermont-Ferrand, Paris, a gynecologist and a vascular surgeon arrived here, as well as a general surgeon, Professor Galamov, came from Moscow. We carried out a number of operations on Monday for diseases of the colon, aorta, and female organ diseases. Today, we are planning to conduct surgery for hiatal hernia and diaphragm using laparoscopic technology.
I think that Astana, especially this hospital, will become one of the main cities for surgery and laparoscopic surgery in the Eurasian countries. Doctors, of course, are good, like in other countries. Most of them are young, and then I think that there is a big potential for development. I think that they need training, and it's important to have connection with countries where surgery is probably more developed than here.
Kazakh cosmonaut Aydin Aymbetov may fly to ISS instead of British singer Sarah Brightman. According to the press service of the Aerospace Committee of the Ministry of Investments and Development, currently Kazcosmos is working over this issue with the Russian side. Sarah Brightman was to go into space in September this year, but the singer refused to fly to the International Space Station due to financial issues.
The probability of the flight is very high, but flight details require further discussion. A political agreement reached at the level of states' presidents.
The space rocket complex Baytarek, constructed on the basis of the Russian Angara launch vehicle, will cost $780 million. This is a new preliminary cost that have been announced in the Senate by the acting chairman of Aerospace Committee, Jibek. The joint Kazakh-Russian project is aimed to implement national and commercial space programs of both countries.
The acting chairman of the Aerospace Committee explained the main reasons Baytarek didn't form yet to the members of parliament at a meeting of the Senate committee. He pointed out the weak points of the document signed between Kazakhstan and Russia in 2004 as the main obstacle. Under the agreement, Russia is simply not interested in promoting the project in economic terms. Meanwhile, Kazakhstan has already invested $800 million to prepare the documentary part of the project. That's almost a third of the budget credit allocated by the Kazakh side. Now we are working on making the project not de jure but de facto to acquire the status of the joint action. This will be possible if Russia includes this project into its federal program and will support it politically. In the near future, it will be revealed whether the project will receive the needed support or not. As it is known so far, the heads of Kazakhstan and Russia are to come to mark the 60th anniversary of Baikonur Space Complex, where they will learn about the results of two countries' experts' work on the correction of terms and conditions of the joint project. Meanwhile, the Senate at the next meeting will consider amendments to the agreement to extend the benefits of budgetary credit for the Baytarek complex.
Noble International Fraternity Academy representative office opened in Astana. This year, the branch office will allocate 5 grants for the Kazakh graduates to study abroad. In June, the candidates will pass A-level tests in an attempt to enroll. First, however, the students will have to pass the English test in the new center. The best graduates will receive free higher education in the UK. According to the chairman of the academy, Philip Noble, students also can pass training in the center remotely. High school and university graduates will have a choice to major in economics, business or law.
We will start here in Astana, which is the logical choice, and we will see if we can promote it further, and we'll see the impact that it will have. But hopefully, yes.
A new city center is to connect 2 parts of Karaganda. The current business and trade district will become a part of the historic miners' capital. According to the urban planners, the city must connect the residential area in the southeast of the city with the industrial district, Maikuduk. The first buildings are to be constructed this year.
The city really needs a new center. The current center has no room for expansion. On the one side, it is surrounded by the railway, and on the other, by mines. Constant traffic jams in the central streets make it hard to travel through the city center, where most of the city and suburb residents flock to every day. Architects have planned it so that administrative buildings in the new center would be surrounded by social facilities. The general plan of the new center includes a sports center, a library, an art museum, a house of children and youth, schools and kindergartens. One of the most ambitious projects of the new center is a large shopping mall with an entertainment complex and a 5-star hotel. It is no secret that there is no 5-star hotel in Karaganda. Negotiations are conducted. Preliminary agreements were reached. The project will be implemented. The first deputy governor of the region, Asylbek Duysebaev, reported on the beginning of construction of a new part of the city. This project will require significant financial investments. According to governor's office, the authorities lay emphasis on attracting private investments on construction. The first private project in the new center will set to construct this year.
8 best projects were selected out of 75 proposed for production of construction materials from industrial waste and release of energy-efficient batteries and refrigerators that do not consume any energy during the international exhibition Uskamen Expo 2015 held in Usk-Kamennogorsk. Scientists from Japan, United States, Canada, Jamaica, South Korea and other countries have arrived to attend the exhibition and to evaluate these projects.
An entrepreneur from the Katan-Karagay district, Gaynur Tokhtarov, has presented a project to build an unusual mini hydropower plant. A deer park located in the mountains is constantly experiencing problems with energy supply. Therefore, they have decided to develop a project that would fully accommodate their needs. A mini hydropower plant is being constructed without dam formation, and the water is piped to the rotor of the generator. Due to this, There is no damage to nature, no reservoirs are created, and in fact, it does not harm nature. This hydroelectric power station on the mountain rivers can produce from 10 to 200 kilowatts of power per hour. This is enough for a small village, the inventors say. To investors, such proposals seemed very profitable. Such projects are essential in the highlands in remote regions, and we can say a lot about practical benefits performed by mini hydropower plants. They will be very effective. Over 30 scientists from all over Kazakhstan participated in the exhibition. Projects of young inventors competed successfully with their projects. A junior expo session made its debut in the exhibition. The last year, only those who hold PhD or candidates or some scientific people participated. This year, we gave the opportunity for children and students to participate as well. We received 45 applications from different cities in the Astana region, Pavlodar, Semi, and Almaty.
Не только Восточно-Казахстанский, это и Сатарауская область, из Павлодар, города Семей, Алматы и так далее.
Out of 8 projects that have won, 2 belong to students, and now they will take part in Expo 2017 in Astana.
Foreign scientists are interested in the Kazakh cultural tourism. They will arrive to explore country's historical monuments. According to the Minister of Culture and Sports, experts from Germany, Qatar and Norway will examine the burial mound first and then continue to the petroglyphs of the archaeological landscape of Tamgali and Otrar. This, according to Aristanbek Joly, will promote the cultural heritage and the development of tourism in the country. Last year, 8 Silk Road historical sites near Semirechynsk have been included in the UNESCO World Heritage Site list. It also included the intangible legacy of the art of Dombra Kuy and skills of Kiz Uy manufacturing. Other applications were filed to include ITs, Nauris and hunting with eagles in the list as well.
Historical and cultural heritage of Kazakhstan raised enormous interest among the foreign scientific community and encourage active cooperation for the integration of the national culture of the world heritage. The development of modern cultural clusters, establishment of regional cultural tourism clusters, and development of social and cultural tourism is one of the tasks for the implementation of the 100 concrete steps.
The first filming details of the historical series Kazakh Lee, dedicated to the 550th anniversary of the Kazakh Khanate, were revealed. The script is based on the first volume of the novel by Ilyas Yesenberlin, Diamond Sword. The shooting, photo and video test among actors for the leading role has finished. Actors and artists from China, Mongolia and Uzbekistan starred in the film along with Kazakh film stars, as the Altin-Orda period involved different nations. The troupe of stuntmen under the management of stunt director Shadarbek Kunguzhinov has been working with the actors and training them various martial arts. The studious area where the actors are trained now will soon turn into a movie set. The interior of the palace in the ancient city of Saganak, Throne Room, Mogulistan main center will be rebuilt on the set. The filming will take place in Almaty in the Almaty region. The same props that were used in the film Nomads on the Ili River are also to be used in the sets of Kazakh Lee. Some paramilitary costumes were ordered from one of the factories from China. The first 5 series will open in the end of this year. The entire series will be completed in March next year.
This project was initiated by the head of state, and it was his wish to start the story from 1465. Our project started with the great nomadic period when the Kazakhs came to Mongolistan. And exactly from this period, we will begin to narrate the story of our first Khans, Janibek and Kere. We will try to stay as close to historical facts as possible in the feature in order to show people that these historical characters, in whose names all these monuments were erected, were real human beings with their human passions and feelings, with their own mistakes and victories. I think that should have a significant landmark. We will try to show exactly just that. I think that the film will be very serious. We will do our best.
The main street of the Turkish city of Adana was named after Nursultan Nazarbayev, as Kazakhstan's economic and political partner honored the status and role of the Kazakh leader. As a sign of respect, 4 streets already appropriated the name of the president of Kazakhstan.
Adana is the sixth most populous city in Turkey with about 2 million people. Now the central street in the city of Mediterranean is named after Nursultan Nazarbayev. The participants talked about the important role of the president of Kazakhstan on the world political stage and in the development of a fruitful bilateral cooperation. The merits of the leader of the nation are known to every resident of Adana. Therefore, they gladly accepted the decision of the local authorities. This time, members of different political parties and opinions were unanimous. Nursultan Nazarbayev is a big figure on the political arena. He established himself as a true leader among the heads of Turkic countries, and that is how people see him. Residents immediately supported the decision to rename the street. I believe the street is a sort of proof of the Turkish-Kazakh cooperation and unity. Ethnic Kazakhs living in Adana were extremely happy to hear such news. Aydin was one of them. He admitted to be proud to say that he lives along the street named after the president of his native land. 20 Kazakh families live in Adana, and we were extremely happy when it was decided to name the street we live on in honor of our president. For me, it is another reason to be proud of my country. This is a historical decision, and we witnessed it. We saw how people were truly glad. It is an honor for us to live on the street named after Nursultan Nazarbayev. 4 cities, Kirsahir, Nevşehir, Gebze, and Izmir, have already named their streets after Nursultan Nazarbayev. There is also a monument erected in honor of Kazakh leader in the center of Istanbul.
A 30-meter cake was baked for the children of the SOS Village, the longest cake in Kazakhstan. Everyone enjoyed the honey cake that was baked for Children's Day. Children kept returning to the table for seconds every now and then. The sponsors made sure to remember about the upcoming summer holidays and had more presents for children. The biggest one was probably the 3.5 million tenge check. The funds will be used for trips to summer camps from the SOS villages of Astana, Almaty and Temirtau. Children in turn made decorations for the holiday and prepared musical and dance performances.
We are preparing for the celebration. We organize the concert. A lot of sponsors are coming. They support us in many ways. For example, they are sending us to a summer camp, give us great gifts. Not long ago, one company brought us Kinder Surprise chocolates. They were very tasty, very nice.
Kazakhstan celebrates the Children's Protection Day on June 1st. And on behalf of the News Summary program, we congratulate all our little viewers on this day. We wish you a fun holiday and enjoyable gifts this sunny day. As for our adult viewers and parents, we wish you to have enough time in this busy world to spend it with your children. These were the main news for the past week on Kazakh TV. You're watching the news summary from Kazakhstan, my home country. I'm Joly Sagandikova. I'll see you later. Have a good and productive week. Goodbye.